Hello, everybody, and welcome back to my Hartford Whalers expansion franchise here on NHL 24. In the last episode, we suffered a defeat in a shootout thriller to the Philadelphia Flyers, 6-5, a very explosive game. And then we simmed our next game against Washington, where we won 6-1 with another offensive outburst. Today, we're going to sim these first two games, and I'll get right into it. We shuffled the lines just a little bit for this one. We added Martinuk and Entwistle to the fourth line with Jake Evans, and then we took out Foligno and Alexander Nylander. So we simmed that first period. Arvidsson, only goal scorer, another goal for him. Another no goals allowed through the first and second. And then we couldn't hold on. We let up 3 goals there in the third period. Scott Wedgwood had 2 strong periods to start and then kind of falls apart there in the third period as we fall to the Carolina Hurricanes 3-1. So that'll bring our preseason record now to even 1-1-1, as now we'll take on the New York Islanders. And again, we just reshuffled our lines a little bit for this one. Nothing too crazy. We'll just go ahead and sim it. And I believe Wedgwood is still in this game. And then as we watch the next game, we'll get Matt Murray. So Andrew Mangiapane scores in the first period, I think his second goal of the preseason. And then again, like we saw in last game, a 3-goal period allowed by Wedgwood. Let's see if we could rebound here in the third period. I was about to say fourth quarter. Wow. And he allows 4 more goals here in the fourth period. In the third period, as Nolan Patrick gets on the board, but that was a rough showing from Wedgwood, and his who had a hat trick there? Let me go back and double check that. Bo Horvat, a hattie here in the preseason. I wonder if they still throw hats on the ice in the preseason. I would assume so. I mean, you got to respect tradition. So now, wow, what a bad defeat. So in our past 2 games, we've been outscored 10-3 after scoring 12 combined in our previous 2. So we scored 12 in our first 2, and then just 3 here in the next couple games. And before we get into this Pittsburgh game, I just want to do a couple things real quick. I just want to complete some of these owner goals that he had set for us. Actually, I'll just wait for these facilities. Once they hit 60 out of 100, that's when they require maintenance. So we'll just ride it out until it gets down to there, and then you see we have a lot of owner goals here. He wants us to upgrade concessions parking lot and build a parking lot too. So I was going to go ahead and upgrade those now just to get those out of the way, but we'll wait just until they require maintenance, like the bathrooms here. So we'll go ahead and repair. Okay, we got that out of the way. And now we'll get into this game against Pittsburgh with Matt Murray in net against his former team. And here's our first look at our home stadium here. And not too shabby. I definitely like the lights along the boards there. And again, we're just going to select sides like we did in the last game. Because if I start off as a CPU versus CPU game, it glitches. And it doesn't give me that little intro in the beginning. Although, I mean, NHL, they could do a lot better with these intros into games. But it's literally just like 5 seconds. And there we go. Crosby wins the faceoff. Why does he still play in the preseason? Rickard Rakell with a burst of speed up the middle, and he gets a nice shot there on Murray, who closes the door. So Victor Olofsson, Andrew Mangiapane, and I think Comfer are out there for our top line in this game. As Mangiapane gets a shot, he had a rebound opportunity, but he couldn't put it home. Jake Gensel brings it along the boards and he gets right past Tyson Barrie into the zone. Gets a shot off, but there's a pad save there by Matt Murray. Tyson Barrie passes up to Comfer. As Olofsson enters the zone, he's going to get a rip-off, but it's a pad save there by Jari. And JT Comfer on the second rebound scores as the Hartford Whalers take a quick 1-0 lead here at home. persistence there in front of the net gets the job done for the Whalers. And this top line of Compher, Mangiapane, and Olofsson looking pretty good here early on. Despite a defensive lapse there, I want to say Ceci just kind of let Jake Gensel right into the zone. Or no, that was Tyson Barrie who let Gensel just cruise right in. But the Whalers bring it back down as now Pittsburgh has another chance as Rust is stopped there as he had a lot of room out in front. Murray already facing a couple shots here. I should say a few shots, a flurry real quick, and he's shut down all opportunities here for the Penguins. Ooh, what a hit there. I think that was Tyler Tucker. That's our first look here at Tyler Tucker. He wasn't suited up for our first preseason game, but he's played here the last 3, I believe, as Larson is actually scratched for this game to give some other guys some opportunities. And I apologize. I know I did say, ooh, a nice backhand shot there from Granlund in front. Back to Rust, who's shut down. I know I did say that I was going to have Dmitry Orlov and Patrick Kane suited up for this game, but it just didn't make sense. You know, what do they really have to gain from playing in preseason games? As Murray will hold it, and we'll get a defensive zone face-off. I mean, they don't really have much to gain from playing here, so we're going to hold off on that. Now we have something to kind of look forward to in our regular season debut with the first appearances of Kane and Orlov. And this team, we have so much, as I've been stressing in past episodes, there's a lot of kind of holes to fill and round out this roster, so we kind of need to give everybody a shot here as much as we can, as the Dina got turned away in front there from Jari. And there's Samuel Bolduc. We put him in a couple games ago, and this is his 3rd game. I wanted to get him a little run as well, and I think up to this game he has a -5, so he was obviously on the ice a lot in our last game where we lost 7-2. Now our 4th line with Jake Evans, Nick Cousins, and Martinuk. This is our first time seeing Martinuk as well. Cousins with a shot there, who's saved by Jari. As Cousins returns to the lineup, I believe our last 2 games he was out, as we were giving some other guys some chances. So, as I said also last episode, we're not going to spend this much time typically in the preseason. Just with this first season, it's kind of a different scenario. We have, as I've said so much, we have a lot of guys who are up for spots and just too many players to fill those spots. So we really want to see what we have here. A pass goes out of the zone, retrieved. As the Pittsburgh defenseman just skates all the way down the boards into his own zone and finally gets rid of it. Bolduc will pick it up to Martinuk, who skates it in. His pass is intercepted as another Pittsburgh skater just skates back into his own zone. Interesting strategy here. And Johnson Fahalby had it right in front. He had Smith as well, but he didn't shoot or get a pass off. Victor Olofsson cross-ice pass to Mangiapane, who drops it back to Bolduc, who skates it back into his own zone. This is a theme here in this preseason game. You see Crosby out there. Bolduc retrieves it up to Olofsson, who makes a move right into a defender, and then Compher picks it up, but he's checked, and Olofsson retrieves it up into the zone. A nice forehand shot there, but it's saved by Tristan Jari. Ricard Raquel with it, loses possession, picked up by Mangiapane, who fights with Crosby over in the corner. Loose puck is picked back up by Crosby, now loose in front, and it looks like Mangiapane is going to retrieve it. Grzelcyk's pass doesn't hit Zadina, and now Peterson takes over up to Raquel, who enters the zone. Jake Gensel to Raquel, who had a nice chance in front, but Murray makes another save. And here on this 3rd line, we see Connor McMichael, who was not suited up for our first game, but this is his 2nd game, I believe. He played in our last sim. So he's someone else who's competing for a roster spot. Now we have Cody Ceci taking it up ice as he's stolen by Joseph. Ruda brings it into the zone. Loose puck given to Jeff Carter to Greer, who can't get the shot off. Good defense there from, I believe, Cody Ceci, as Nolan Patrick now takes it up the wing. And then corner down to McMichael, who gets a shot off right in front, but really no angle to get a good shot off as Jari. Like I said, there's nowhere for McMichael to go with that one. Now here we see Scott Lawton, Leo Carlsson, and Victor Arvidsson. Carlsson and Arvidsson have shown some good chemistry this preseason thus far, as Carlsson gets a steal right in front. Arvidsson ends up with it, takes it in, but it's a loose puck as Barry tries to get it, and he's checked. Barry back to Carlsson. Ooh, he got a shot off there to Lawton, but Jari showed good anticipation on that one-timer attempt, as we have a delayed penalty, and I'm going to put my money on Scott Lawton. Victor Arvidsson. I only say that because Lawton had 3 penalties in our first game that we watched there against Philly in the last episode. So Arvidsson will go to the sin bin for 2 minutes, and our penalty kill will look to redeem themselves, as they were 2 for 4. No, I'm sorry. We actually, in our first game against the Flyers, we had 3 late penalties. So we actually had 7 penalties, I believe, and we killed off 4 or 5, although our first 2 we allowed power play goals. So we did show good resilience here. But we have a tough task here against Raquel, Gensel, and Crosby, as Gensel has a rip right in front, but the glove of Matt Murray snags it. All right, we'll have another defensive zone face-off here with Scott Lawton. With 3:25 left in this first period, Lawton wins the draw. Stanley over to Bolduc, who gets the clear down ice, although it's picked up by Smith at Pittsburgh's blue line. Crosby to Gensel in front, pad save from Matt Murray. And luckily no one was there for the rebound, as Nolan Patrick gets the clear as time winds down here on this Pittsburgh power play. About a minute left as they go for another rush. Lawton, nice move there as he intercepted the pass, although Smith will recover to Crosby, and Stanley closes the door, gets it to Lawton, who takes it up ice. Patient, back to Patrick, who can't get the shot off. Good play there from Scott Lawton, who keeps it in the zone to Logan Stanley, fighting along the boards. He gets a shot off and is saved by Jari. There's 10 seconds left on this Pittsburgh power play. And Gensel can't get into the zone. He's stolen by Logan Stanley, and now it's to Arvidsson, who just gets out of the box. Patrick fighting up ice, but he's very tired after that penalty kill, as he'll probably go to the bench as we get a line change. Raquel takes it in, and he gets a nice hard shot off as Comfort was there defending. Another save by Matt Murray, who's been very strong in this first period. Look at Mangiapane stealing it at the blue line, taking it into the zone with 5 ticks left, and a good defensive play there from Pittsburgh, as the first period will come to an end as Hartford leads 1-0. Not only were shots even at 11 apiece there in the first period for each team, but also each team with 11 hits as well. So both teams getting opportunities and playing physical hockey as well. After the faceoff, Pittsburgh gets possession. Jake Gensel over to Raquel, who retains possession, but then he's pickpocketed by Comfort, who gives it to Mangiapane. It's stolen by Gensel, who is laid out. Who was that? Was that Tyson Barrie, who just absolutely laid out Jake Gensel? We love to see that from an offensive defenseman. Tucker picks it up, and his pass goes away from Comfort, although Hartford regains possession as Tyson Barrie almost scores on his own net. That's just awful. Leads to another Hartford rush as Comfort kind of maneuvers around mid-ice. Mangiapane tries to get a stretch pass there to Olofsson, but it doesn't go. Raquel takes it in. He beats Barrie, but Tucker is there to recover as Murray freezes it with 17 minutes left here early on in the second period. Scott Lawton, Leo Carlsson, and Victor Arvidsson back out there. Lawton, a very strong penalty kill last period. He wins the draw to Matt Grzelcyk, but Russ takes over back to Joseph. A bounce pass off the wall, Ends up to Granlund with Rust out in front. And he hits the post. Rust clanks the metal. Murray freezes here. And we'll still have those second lines out for both teams. Lawton wins another draw back to Bolduc. Grzelcyk takes it up ice. It's poked away back to Carlson, who gets a shot off, but it's saved by Jari. And Carlson back with it. In front, Arvidsson scores! As I said earlier, this duo of Carlson and Arvidsson have been pretty phenomenal here early on in this, or I shouldn't say early on, I guess we're at Game 5 now this preseason, but they might just have to stick together in the regular season. Carlson wins the puck battle, gets it right in front to Arvidsson, who finishes glove side on Tristan Jarry, as Hartford now takes a 2-0 lead. Playing some very strong hockey so far in this game. That Paul Stastny on Pittsburgh? I don't think he's on Pittsburgh in real life, right? So that's something must have happened in the offseason. Paul Stastny ends up in Pittsburgh alongside Evgeny Malkin and Sidney Crosby. So a few very experienced forwards there for Pittsburgh. Lawton with a shot. Jari couldn't handle the rebound as it ends up on the stick of Joseph, who gives it up ice to Ruda, taken over by Grzelcyk, whose pass goes astray. Now Greer with it on the side as Bolduc outmans him and wins the puck there. Victor Arvidsson up ice. He'll clear it in and give chase. Smith ends up with it to Ruwadell. Over back to Smith. As Jeff Carter, another very experienced forward here for Pittsburgh, gives it off to Stastny, whose pass goes wide, and it'll be picked up by McMichael, taking it into the zone. He tries to dance his way in. Tyson Barrie picks it up, goes towards the net. Zadina with it, and he gets hooked. So we are going to have a power play here. Our first power play of the game, as Riley Sheehan commits a slash. I think I said hook, so it was a slash. And we'll get a power play and a chance to go up 3-0 here in the second period. Confer on the draw. And Granlund's going to win it for Pittsburgh as Peterson gets the clear. It'll be picked up by Olofsson, who turns up ice. Passes over to Confer. Peterson took it, but Confer took it back, and he had a nice breakaway, but Jari closes the door. Arvidsson with a nice rip there from the side, and Jari with another save. Hartford wins the draw. Carlson has it in front, and the loose puck goes on the stick of Ruwadell, but he can't clear it. Well, he clears it out of the zone, but not all the way down the ice, as Raquel picks it up at center ice, and he'll take it into the zone with speed. And it'll end up back as we see Grzelcyk and I already forgot who that was there for Pittsburgh. We saw Grzelcyk getting into it with a Pittsburgh player. Hartford with the face-off win. As we saw 30 seconds here on this power play. Lawton will catch the clear attempt. Patrick back to Barrie to Mangiapane with a shot and a glove save by Tristan Jarry. So here we are about, I guess I could say more than halfway through the game with 9:55 now left in the second period, as Hartford leads 2-0 with 6 seconds left here on our power play. And you see down below where we have outshot Pittsburgh 6-1 in this period. Buried is Zadina right in front with a quick wrist, but Jari makes another pad save. And he's been under duress here in the second period. Another offensive zone draw here as we return to even strength back to Barrie, and another glove save by Jari. Pittsburgh wins a face-off in their own zone as Riley Smith takes it up the ice. They can't do much there in congestion as Letang ends up with it. His slap shot attempt is blocked. Rust in the corner as he kicks around, and it ends up on the stick of Martinuk, who gives it off to Barry, who will give it to Cousins. Passes over to Martinuk with the shot, and it looked like it was blocked there. Martinuk back in front, and he loses possession as Letang ends up with it. He'll give to Rust as Tucker steals it from him. Cousins up to Mangiapane. And Peterson steals the puck from him as Mangiapane's still giving effort on the forecheck there. Oh, I got to say, Lawton and Mangiapane, Comfort, you could probably throw into the mix. They've been some of our hardest players with the most energy here in the preseason thus far, as Olofsson blocks the shot. Carter ends up with it. He's blocked as Comfort takes over up to Olofsson. The loose puck goes to Joseph, who gives to Stastny. Greer back to Letang. Back to Greer, who enters the zone. Gives it to Stastny in the slot, and it's blocked. Some good shot blocking here from Hartford in the second period. Carter gives back to Joseph, to Ruta, and a pad save from Matt Murray. Tucker ends up with it and gives it over to Olofsson. And his pass for Mangiapane goes loose. Joseph back to Ruta. Crosby enters the zone. Mangiapane can't do much against him as Raquel ends up with it back to Joseph with a shot from the point. Murray makes the save, but he couldn't handle the rebound. Ruta in the slot. It's blocked there by Nolan Patrick. Wow. And Crosby had a nice one-timer. He had some net there, but Murray recovers. Nice sequence there for Hartford. And our shot blocking has been a huge strength thus far. You love to see that. You know, most successful teams are willing to throw the body out there. So that's a good sign here in the preseason for Hartford. McMichael wins the draw as Adina heads up ice. Tries to dance in. He gets close, but can't keep possession of the puck as Ruta gets it. Although Zadina fights back, and he'll end back up with the puck to Grzelcyk, who crosses center ice, passes over to McMichael, who can't get through, although he'll still fight. But Joseph wins that puck battle as he gives it to Crosby, who dumps off for Gensel, who's taken over by Grzelcyk. And now Nolan Patrick enters the zone. He'll give a pass to McMichael in front, who scores! Connor McMichael, someone we've talked about but haven't seen much of. And he'll finish that Nolan Patrick dish with 35 seconds here left in the second period to take a 3-0 lead. Wow, top corner there for McMichael. What a goal. Nice setup there from Patrick. He blocked a big shot on his last shift, and now he gets an assist on a nice setup there to McMichael. As Hartford up 3-0 here against Pittsburgh on home ice. Matt Grzelcyk also with an assist as he heads into the zone. And he gives a pass to Scott Lawton, who finishes a rocket. What was that, 2 goals here in the matter of 10 seconds? Wow, that was a strong finish from Scott Lawton as he gets the feed there from Grzelcyk. Jari was not even ready for that. I don't think he recovered yet from the last goal he gave up. So 4 goals here already through 2 periods for Hartford, as in our previous 2 games, we only had 3 goals. So love to see that. 20 seconds left here in the second period. Let's see if we can get another. Let's tack it on. Pittsburgh wins the faceoff with 10 seconds left. They'll have time for a shot or two as Smith is taken over by Bolduc. And that's going to do it here for the second period as we add 2 more goals. We saw it just this last one from Scott Lawton. Wow, that was a rip. So 4-0 Hartford leads after 2 periods. JT Comfort and Sidney Crosby will get us started on the draw in this third period as Crosby wins another draw. Gensel enters the zone. He'll skate in over to Crosby, who gets absolutely rocked. Oh my goodness. Crosby just got rocked. Hartford is just stealing Pittsburgh's lunch money here in this game. Obviously on the scoreboard, but I think we're out playing a little more physical as well. So Great showing here from Hartford as they win the draw, but Gensel gets it. Barry recovers as Confer goes up ice into the zone. Loose puck ends up on Olofsson, although Gensel steals it. He'll pass it back to Raquel, who's poked by Tyson Barrie, and Mangiapane takes it up ice. Fights with Raquel as Olofsson pokes it behind the net. In front for Confer, a pad save there from Tristan Jarry. Mangiapane with it. Still effort on the forecheck there as Confer's another shot from Confer is blocked by Tristan Jarry. Mangiapane has been very impressive here with his two-way skill set and giving a lot of effort here on the forecheck for us. Tristan Jarry just 19 saves on 23 shots. As Peterson enters the zone for Pittsburgh. In front for Russ, who can't get the shot off. Peterson recovers and he gets a shot, but it is saved by Matt Murray. Granlund in front, and it looked like that shot was deflected. It almost bounces off the back off the back of Matt Murray into the net, but he saved that one. That was an interesting play. Scott Lawton with the defensive zone faceoff here as Pittsburgh leads in faceoffs 14-12 now. Wow, Lawton with a huge hit. Carlson takes over. His pass is blocked by Joseph. Smith enters the zone on a long stretch pass, but Barrie recovers and plays good defense and steals possession of the puck as he gives to Lawton. Enters the zone on the wing. He'll skate it behind the net. Wait. Passes in front for Carlson, who gets a shot off, but Jarry is able to save that one. So after this episode, we'll simulate the last two preseason games, and that's where I'll leave you. And then our next episode will start right away with our regular season opener as Bolduc with a shot there, blocker save from Tristan Jarry. I wish I knew who we were playing in our opener, but I didn't look that far ahead. So after this episode, I guess after this game, we'll probably take a look at our schedule a little bit. Lawton with another face-off here against Stastny as Jeff Carter takes it, but his pass up ice is taken by Grzelcyk, who enters the zone. Passes, was that to... Who was that to? Wow, another big rip, which is blocked. And that was Arvidsson there on that first shot attempt. Pittsburgh struggling to keep possession here as Ruda passes over to Greer, whose pass goes right to Zadina as we'll go in transition up ice. And we'll also get a penalty interference there on Greer. So we'll go on our second power play here of the game. I remember last game we had all those penalties. I think I said 6 or 7 penalties. This game just won. I think just one for us. So it just goes to show, every game's different. There's a lot of disparity between games, which is what we like. We like realistic results. It's not always going to be the same. And also last game, 6-5. This game's 4-0 so far. So still kind of a lot of scoring for us in this one, but it shows that both sides aren't always going to be scoring a ton of goals. As Tristan Jarry flashes the leather there early on this power play for Hartford. Scott Lawton again on the draw with Patrick and Zadina on his wings on this power play. He wins the draw back to Barrie, who gets a shot. Blocker save from Tristan Jarry. It bounces behind the net as Zadina fights for it. Doesn't quite end up with it. Smith will get it off to Granlund, who will get it out of the zone. It looks like he's going to go for something here offensively as Mangiapane, who else, slams the door. As Zadina picks it up, and nice play there from 42 for Pittsburgh, closing the door on that entrance for Hartford. So 4-0 here, Hartford, 11:52 remaining in the game. Lawton again, that second power play unit out there for us. As Pittsburgh wins and Letang will take it. Passes up the boards to Sheehan. He'll peel back, and his pass in the slot is intercepted by Lawton as Zadina ends up with it. Takes it into the zone. Peels back. Is it to Barrie, who had a nice opportunity there, but he does still get a shot off and a glove save by Tristan Jarry. And I mentioned in our first episode when we put this team together, Tristan Jarry was actually available for Pittsburgh. He did have an expiring deal, so I just didn't think it was too realistic to bring him in, though. That's someone who, if we drafted him, we would have locked him up long term. I think he's one of the better relatively speaking, young goalies in this league. So that would have been too easy. So now instead we got Matt Murray, who's outplaying him tremendously in this preseason game. And it's also worth noting Jarry got, as a shot from Confer there goes wide, Jarry got a 6-year deal worth, I want to say, about $40 million. So not a pretty team-friendly deal there for a long-term goaltender for Pittsburgh. As Murray, another shot on goal, and he'll make the save as we have less than 10 minutes now in this third period. Crosby and Confer here on the draws. And Confer is going to come up with it as it's back to Bolduc, who passes across ice to Grzelcyk. Grzelcyk dances in, gets a shot off, but it's gloved by Tristan Jarry. And Matt Grzelcyk, I had very high expectations for him coming into this. Obviously, we're not even at the regular season yet, but his I think he had a -5 or something coming into the game. We had him with Josh Brown the first couple games. Then we moved him. I forget who he was playing with after that, but it hasn't really been too good here for Matt Grzelcyk in the preseason, although he does have a nice assist in this game. As Letang moves it into the corner, he tries to get Raquel in front. Ow, wow. Raquel just stole a pass, had an easy chance right in front, but Matt Murray again closes the door, and he's been absolutely phenomenal in this game for Hartford. At this stage in the game, I really just wish the AI would, throw the third and fourth lines out there a little bit more. There's no need to, especially here in the preseason, but whatever. We'll stick with these top lines for now as we see Mangiapane to Olofsson as Carter takes over, and Letang will enter the zone. Bolduc had him lined up and played some good defense there as Letang retains possession, but a loose puck will be captured here by Olofsson, who passes to Mangiapane with a rip, and it's saved there by Jarry, who couldn't control it, although it leads to a Pittsburgh offensive entry as Jeff Carter takes it. Some good defense there by Tyson Barrie. Stastny right in front, and that's kind of a weak shot. Letang's pass goes wide and ends up on Martinuk's stick, who gets it to Cousins. Passes over to Evans, who is upended there by Smith, and his pass gets intercepted as Smith enters the zone for Pittsburgh. To Carter, who can't get the shot off. To Ruedel, and another save by Matt Murray. So just over 5 minutes left here, and obviously very good game from Hartford. Hopefully we can build on this. I just showed Tristan Jarry there, who's obviously frustrated in this game, but hopefully this is something we can build on. And obviously still 2 more games to go, but hopefully that this momentum kind of carries over into the last 2 games as we close out the preseason and trickles into our regular season opener. Russ pass goes off a skate, ends up on Tyson. I want to say that was Barrie. That was Tyson Barrie. Although Pittsburgh gets it, Russ enters the zone to Granlund, who gets a nice opportunity in front, loose puck. And Murray, another couple shots as, I don't know who that was, someone on Hartford just came up and smacked it out of the zone all the way down the ice. Smith will take it up, going against Tyson Barrie, and there's Nolan Patrick, who came over a little late helping defense, but you like to see that active. He's been active defensively too, Patrick, when he's been on the ice. I think, who's he been with? McMichael and Zadina, I believe, is that line. So that's a young line between McMichael, Patrick, and Zadina, who have been pretty good so far in this game, although we haven't seen them too much. But McMichael, obviously, with that goal earlier off a nice feed from Nolan Patrick. Ruedel can't handle it at the point, although he does get a nice shot off, which is turned away by Murray. Wow, nice block. Another block shot. Was that Arvidsson? That was Arvidsson he blocked a very hard shot there right in front. Ruedel enters the zone, gets a rip off, but it's blocked away by Murray. Lawton over to Tucker, passes up to Carlson. Carlson back to Tucker, up to Lawton, who tries to get it to Arvidsson, but it's intercepted by Joseph as Raquel enters the zone, poked away there by Tucker with another nice defensive play. So less than a minute left here, as I think that was Leo Carlson, who just got upended by Joseph. Arvidsson with it in front. Save. We haven't seen too many chances here in the third period. Luckily, I guess we used them all in the second. Raquel there on Murray with a glove save with 17 seconds left in this game, as we'll have yet another defensive zone faceoff. There's that hit again. Wow, Carlson, welcome to the NHL. Joseph just gave him a welcome and a nice greeting there. But look at the scoreboard. That's all we got to say about this one. So Crosby wins another faceoff. Ruda, shot saved by Murray. CC will take it. Gensel steals. Raquel with 5 seconds left on the corner. Joseph with one last shot on goal. It's just turned away by Matt Murray as he secures a shutout here in preseason Game 5 as Hartford defeats the Pittsburgh Penguins 4-0. Obviously a tremendous game from start to finish. Our third period there wasn't too strong, but we didn't need a strong one with the way we won this game. So 4-0. A tremendous result here for the Hartford Whalers as we have 2 more games left here in the preseason to finalize this roster and get our lines finalized for the regular season opener. All right, and here we are back at our home screen, and we're going to go ahead and sim another game. And I thought there was only 7 preseason games, which there typically are, but we actually have 8 because we joined the Metro, so that gave the Metro 9 teams. And I guess it just gives us 1 game against each division opponent. But I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that's what the case is. So here we go. We'll sim the first period. Columbus goes up 1-0 as Matt Murray surrenders a goal within the first 3 minutes after posing a shutout in the last game. Another goal there for Columbus, 2-0 going into the third. And we go down 3-0, and in the last 11 minutes, 14 seconds, we rally for 3 goals from Lawton, Evans, and Arvidsson to force overtime in this game. No one scores in overtime, so we're going to take it to a shootout. And we fall again in a shootout as Johnny Gaudreau and Benstrom score for Columbus, as Arvidsson adds 1 for us, although we drop another shootout game, which brings our preseason record now to 2-2-2. With 2 games remaining. Now we'll go ahead and simulate this game against the Rangers after shuffling the lines a little bit. Wedgwood will be in goal for this one. And Zibanejad scores as the lone goal scorer in the first period, 1-0 Rangers. And they explode for 3 more here as I think that's the third 3-goal period Wedgwood has surrendered here in this preseason in 3 games. So every time he's been out there on the ice, he's letting up a period of 3 goals. So not good. And Mackenzie Entwistle scores shorthanded for us to get us on the board. And then Zibanejad scores another one in the third, and the Rangers take this one 6-2 as we get outshot 37-28. We will reshuffle the lines a little bit for this last game here against the Devils, as we are 1 game closer to the regular season, finally. And the Devils are off to a tremendous start here in the preseason at 6-1, leading the division. And it looks like, they're tied at the top of the NHL through the preseason in points. So let's sim this game. Our final preseason game with Matt Murray in net. And Hartford goes up 1-0 after the first period as Barry scores on Jonathan Bernier. And then we get 2 more here in the second with a shorthanded goal from JT Compher and Nick Cousins. So that's back-to-back games now with shorthanded goals. And we'll finish it off here in the third period as Cousins gets on the board again and Arvidsson with another power play goal this preseason as the Hartford Whalers conclude this preseason with a 5-2 victory over the New Jersey Devils. And now it is time to finalize this roster for opening night. So now it all just comes down to finalizing our lines for our first night. I'll kind of take you through my process. I'm just going to look at some stats here. I won't try to have this go on to extend too much. Maybe just look for a few more minutes at some stats. So here we see Tyson Barrie led our team in points with 9, followed by Arvidsson, Compher, and Carlson, all with 8. Carlson and Barrie both with 7 assists leading the team. And 6 goals for Arvidsson and Compher, the only other player with more than 2. Plus minus. Barrie and Stanley looked like a very good pairing. I think I did have them together for a few games, so maybe they open up the season together. Mangiapane, Cousins, Compher all at +3. Arvidsson, Lawton +2. Nylander +1. And then everyone else is either 0 or minus. We see Brown and McMichael here, -5. I thought McMichael was very good in that first game we saw against Pittsburgh, but I guess otherwise his line struggled. Entwistle had a nice shorthanded goal, but he really didn't do much here in this preseason to warrant a roster spot. Grzelcyk was kind of disappointing, only 2 points, -3. Patrick a -3, although he showed a lot of energy and played pretty well. Foligno, he's not going to be much of a point getter, but we're more focused on his physical side and the energy he brings. And there's Jacob Larson. I noticed in the last episode I called him Jacob Carlson twice at the end of the episode, and it's just hard between Carlson, Larson, Arvidsson, and Olofsson. So I might get those sons messed up every now and then, but we'll try to keep it together on that. Olofsson only with 1 goal here in the preseason. Let's look at penalty minutes. I'm sure it's Lawton as the leader, which he is. All those 6 penalty minutes came in that first game, and 2 of which were on the same play, as he had 2 tripping penalties in 1 shift. Barrie, a defenseman, leads our team in shots. Shot percentage goes to Arvidsson. Nolan Patrick, only 4 shots, but he did score on 1 of them. Game-winning goals go to Leo, Carlson, Compher, and Cousins. Power play goals, Carlson, Zadina, and Arvidsson. And then Carlson and Barrie, the only players with multiple power play points. And we had 3 shorthanded goals here in this preseason. And you'll remember Victor Arvidsson's game-tying goal with 5 seconds left against Pittsburgh. Time on ice per game goes to Barrie and Ceci. I figured they would be up there. Let's look at face-off percentage. Foligno didn't take many draws, but 6 out of 8 is a very good ratio. And besides that, Lawton, Evans, and Carlson look like our best face-off men here so far. Hits, Lawton 20 and Compher 20. 2 very physical players, about block shots. Tyler Tucker with 10 block shots leading the team. Jacob Larson right behind him with 11 hits compared to Tucker's 5. And of course, Carlson had 5 points here in the preseason. So I think it really is going to come down to Tucker versus Larson for our 7th D-man spot. Takeaways, Zadina with 14 takeaways to just 1 giveaway. That's an outstanding ratio. I did not expect that kind of defensive play from him. Wow. I don't think we had any fights. No fights here in the preseason. Go over to goalies, and I'm already scared of Scott Wedgwood's stats. Look at Wedgwood. .838 save percentage, .529. That is abysmal. I don't know if I've seen numbers that bad from an NHL goaltender. But then you look at Murray, a .942 save percentage, 1.76 goals against. He was phenomenal. Maybe among the best goaltenders here in the preseason with that shutout as well. Can we look at team stats real quick? I really just want to see how we compare to the rest of the division. Actually, the second most goals, but probably, and then the 4th most given up. 35 goals against for Washington. Not looking too good there in DC. What's our power play percentage? 3rd through the preseason, 3 out of 14. Not too bad. And then shorthanded, we were, after Washington, New Jersey, everyone's like at 83%. So not a bad showing there for Hartford in our first preseason at 3-3-2. And that's kind of the record I expect us to have once we hit the regular season. I'm posting our over-under for wins at 33.5. So feel free in the comments. Let me know what you think about that. Are we going over or under that? 33.5 wins here for Hartford in year 1. I think that's around where we'll be. So we'll see how it actually ends up. And bear with me now. So let's go to roster moves. And obviously, we have to pull up Patrick Kane and Dmitry Orlov. So we need a forward and a defenseman who are not going to make the roster. And here we go. Look at Carlson. They still have his overall at 70. We didn't uncover that at all through the preseason, which is pretty rough. I thought we would get a full overall on him by now, but 8 points in 8 games, very good for Carlson, who's obviously going to play the first game for us. So between Nylander and Entwistle, I'm not too convinced with either of them. I don't think either of them are going to be making the roster. So I think we'll send both of them down for now. We'll bring Martinook up as another forward, and now we need to send a defenseman down. Josh Brown, I was really hoping for more from. I thought him and Grzelcyk would be a nice tandem there, but it just didn't work out for him. So I'm kind of tempted to send Brown down, to be honest, but excuse me. We need another right-handed shot on defense. We only have Barry and Cece, so really just the necessity for a right-handed shot is enough for me to keep Brown on the roster. So here we go. It really comes down to Tyler Tucker and Jacob Larson. Both played 6 games. Tucker, no points, but in that first game we saw, he did have a strong defensive showing. But I feel like you can't discredit what Larson did in those first 2 games, where he led our team with 4 points, then added a point in the next game. I mean, in 13 NHL games the past 2 years, only 1 point, and then he had 4 there in that nice 2-game stretch. So I think we're just going to go with Larson for now, just because of the productivity. I know someone in the comments mentioned, I really appreciate comments too. I want to know what you guys think about this team and who's impressing you, who you think we should just cut ties with. But someone in the comments wanted me to be wary of his plus minus, and it was at like +3 after those first 2 games, and then in the next 4 it drops down to -2. So that was a very good call. And again, I really appreciate comments, but we're gonna send down Tucker, and that's gonna finalize our roster for the first night. And now it all comes down to our lines, which I'm not gonna do live here. I'll just do this offline. So I'll take care of that, and then I'll be back with more audio. Voila. And just like that, our lines are set and locked in for opening night. You might have seen Andrew Mangiapane. There was an injury notification. It's just day-to-day, though. So as we sim a couple more days into the regular season opener, he should be fully healed, hopefully. And if not, we're still going to rock with him here on our first line, along with Scott Lawton and Patrick Kane. I really just, obviously, over the course of an NHL season, you shuffle lines around a bunch, but my thought process here is that Mangiapane and Lawton are 2 of our hardest, scrappiest players, so I think they'll open up a lot of opportunities here for Kane. Then on the second line, we have that all-Swede line back together again with Victor Olofsson, Leo Carlson, and Victor Arvidsson. Going to the third line, we have Philip Zadina, who's known as a sniper, although his NHL career, he hasn't really scored many goals thus far, but he had a tremendous defensive preseason. He's going to be along with the hard-nosed player of Nick Cousins and JT Compher as well. And then finalizing this final line, we have Marcus Foligno, Jake Evans, and Nolan Patrick. Jordan Martinook will be our healthy scratch at forward, and we also sent down Connor McMichael. He wasn't going to scratch the top 12 forwards, so we figured we might as well just send him down to the AHL to start the year to give him some reps. Now looking at our defense, we have Dmitry Orlov and Cody Cece as our top defensive pairing for now. And then we stick Stanley and Barry together again, as they had a strong chemistry in the preseason. And then we have Grzelcyk and Brown here on this final line, who didn't really have good chemistry in the preseason, but we're going to give it another chance. Then I'll just quickly go through our special teams units. We have Carlson with Patrick Kane and Victor Olofsson on this top power play unit. On the second line, it's going to be Lawton, Zadina, Compher as forwards, with Arvidsson and Grzelcyk on the back end. 4-man penalty kill. We have a lot of options penalty kill wise. We have a lot of good 2-way players. So Compher and Foligno are going to be our top guys on the penalty kill, followed by Lawton, Mangiapane, and then Evans and Patrick. Just scroll down through these 4-on-4 lines real quick so you just get a glimpse. And then our 3-on-3 lines, which obviously comes in play in overtime, where we have Lawton, Kane, and Barry together, Carlson, Arvidsson, Orlov, and then Olofsson, Comfort, Grzelcyk. And then our goaltenders, Matt Murray and Scott Wedgwood. So this is what we're gonna rock with in the regular season opener. We're past the preseason now. It feels good. So I'll give you a quick look at our AHL team as well. And these lines I didn't do. This is all just computer generated. I will, however, in coming years, once we get more of our prospects in, I will edit the lines. And I might down the line here during the season, but it's not something I was really dealing with right now. But we see Nylander, McMichael, and Entwistle all were put on that top line for our AHL team. 3 guys who we saw in the preseason. Then on defense, Tucker is on our top defensive unit with Akatiuk and Bolduc on the second and third respectively. With our goalies, as we saw in the expansion draft episode 1, Daniil Tarasov and Arturs Silovs. So that's going to do it for this episode. I'm really excited for this first game against Winnipeg Jets, another team that was kind of resurrected probably at this point maybe a little bit over a decade ago. So we will get our regular season opener will come at home. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment, like, and subscribe. More than anything, I'd really love some feedback in the comments, things I could do better, things I'm doing well, just comments about this team. I really love the conversation engaging with people who are watching the videos. So leave a like and subscribe, as I said. And as always, it's been real and be well. See you next time.